This time I am cleaning and doing light maintenance to a couple of my diesels. In my previous video, I showed repairing my EM1. It's running better than it was. I can say that it's running better. I don't know if you could see that on the end of the video because my cell phone was dying. But anyway, we're gonna work on this little diesel. Well, these diesels. This is an old, what some people would call, it's a Athearn blue box. And the reason is obvious. The reason why they call it a blue box is because it is in a blue box. The engine is old, but in the same token, it's new. It's a Southern Pacific Baldwin, which I don't have very many other road engines that's other than Southern Pacific or Cottonville. Yes, I've still got back pain. They couldn't do anything for me. They just said, you know, be careful, take Tylenol, which is what I was doing. But it's all okay. These Athearn blue box engines are very easy to work on. Because of their simplicity and design. Not like any of these new ones. But, okay. Wheel set. Get a small screwdriver, push under here. It's a plastic holder that holds the wheel sets together. You have, I'll finish taking this apart. You've got gears on the inside, 3 gears, and this is a different cleaner what I was using earlier. This is a very, very, very light oil. And yes, I just put everything in there. it won't hurt it. I've had people call my layout a sandbox, which I use actual dirt as my ballast. I use actual coal in my hopper cars, and when I want to put down new ballast, I use one of my 100-ton hoppers that has doors that open. Sometimes it's just better to pour the liquid back in another container. That way you can just reach in and grab everything you need. And you can tell that it was obviously dirtier than what it was. Because it's a very good degreaser. I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, getting down to this. You just clean these, and let me get another jar or something. Hang on. It helps when your grandmother was a hoarder when it came to like jars and stuff. Because pretty much, this is equate 91% isopropyl alcohol. That helps clean the oil and stuff that is on your bearings. Yeah, you just get it. This you don't have to dump out or anything, because the jar is so shallow that you can just reach in with your fingers. And don't dip your fingers in alcohol if you've got a cut. Damn. Excuse me. Damn. You see how it had sediment on them? If I would have put this back together with that sediment on there, it would have messed up my gears. Okay. Just separate all of the gears, which you've got 3 in each wheel set. I got paper towel. I do apologize, I'm not prepared. I should have got all this prepped and ready before I started this. Oh well, live and learn. But just get it, make sure they're clean and dry. Gotta make sure they're dry. Seemed like my dad's favorite brand of engine when he was alive was it was a combination of Atlas and Ather. Which we're going to be working on 3 diesels. A Baldwin, a Fairbanks and Morris, and a GP9, high nose GP9. So I'll show you how to put all this stuff together in just a minute. Let me get all this stuff cleaned. Or not cleaned, but dried. I do not weather my engines. I mean, you know, people say, man, it looks more realistic. It looks more realistic. Yeah, well, you know, not on my railroad. My railroad, they have clean engines. Fictitious, but they're clean. Bad thing is, when Athearn built the older engines, they didn't put any pre-lube in the gearing. So some of you that have model railroads and stuff, the engines would have a roar or a whine to them, and that was due to the gears being dry. Me, when I buy an engine, first thing I do before I even run it is I put oil, and just a second. Okay, all right, back to the task at hand. Okay, still Shell Rotella to A1540. Put a drop on each axle. Well, not axle, but where your gears go. And so that way you can pre-lube it. And on this particular engine, that's the way they go. Big, little big. Okay. And there's only one way these things are going to go together. Another reason why I like old blue box Athearns is because they're so easy to work on. I mean, I've been taking these things apart since I was a kid. And your gears, your axle with center gear, 2 bearings, they're only going to fit one way. And you have to get this slot, metal slot, is where the bearing, the square, fits in. Okay. You got this long piece that goes on the bottom. And it just snaps in. And get your oil. Put 6 drops in it, approximately 6 drops. I mean, it ain't got to be exact. And you just work it back and forth because you can see right there, there's a gap. When you see oil down there on that gap, then you've got oil all the way through your gears. Like I said, an old blue box Athearn is so much easier to work on. I had a SP, a model of an SP-9, which is a, that's my dog. Zeke! You scared him off. But anyway, like I said, excuse my dog. But anyway, it was instead of a lot of people calling them a dash, or instead of it being called a -9, it was also called a C44-9W. That's the, technical name. Like I said, this goes together pretty much just as easy. I'm doing a video. I'm doing a video. My mom. Sometimes if they want, if that metal part is further away than what it should be, you can just bend them. And then get that. Like I said, put about 5 to 6 drops. Okay. Somebody is writing me. Oh. And then it just snaps down. Now, what you can do, it won't hurt it a bit, put you a little bit of oil right where the plastic clips are. like I said, you know, these wheels will only go on one way. And then with your worm gear, that's like on my EM1, you place it on the top. Make sure that your square brass bearings are straight. And I like to put about 3 drops right here on the top. That way you're pre-lubricating your worm gear. And then I also like to put 1 drop on, or right where it connects, and then 2 drops on the inside of where it connects to the motor. And this side, you know, one, two, like I said, 3 drops right there on the top. Get your keeper. That's what holds your then my coupler on the back fell off. Yes, I know it's not prototypical, but I'm using horn hook couplers, the old school horn hook couplers. Sometimes you gotta bend in the tab a little bit. Okay. The motor doesn't need to be cleaned. Like I said, it's practically a new engine. And there is a certain way that your part on the top, there is a certain way it goes on. Sometimes you gotta kind of bend it down some. And say, complete. Get your side covers, pop them on. When I used to take engines apart and stuff and clean them, I would always end up breaking these. And then the body just snaps on. done. Okay, now we're going to get into a little bit harder engine to do. This is a lifelike. I think this is a Proto 2000. That takes a little bit more to get into. Just because this is a lifelike, that doesn't make it any different to work on. Me repairing my engines.
Are you recording that?
Yeah. I've been recording for the past 27 minutes.
You ate ice cream.
I didn't.
That's Johnny.
I didn't eat it. I didn't touch it.